the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets. You'll hear from players, coaches, broadcasters, and writers that cover the NFL daily. The New Orleans Saints podcast starts right now. Here are your hosts, Erin Summers and Todd Graffagnini.
Welcome into the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. I'm Erin Summers alongside Todd Graffagnini. Has his feet kicked up right now on the desk watching golf.
Well, I mean, I'm waiting for this long media availability session. So came in a little early, got my observations done, and yes, third round of the Wyndham Championship. Why not? Little golf on a Saturday.
There you go. Well, today at practice, it was, again, in pads after a day off. Media asked Coach Kellen Moore after practice, it did seem a little slower out there. And he said, well, that was intentional. We wanted to build in some time. We're working on the TV timeouts type of deal. You're not going to be going nonstop every practice, obviously not in a game. So they're working on that aspect of it a little bit. Didn't seem like there were that many huge, big plays today either, though. And I think that was part of it that made it seem a little sluggish.
Yeah, it just was one of those practices that you're going to have from time to time during the grind of training camps. And yeah, we saw a couple of passes. Tyler Shuck hit Chris Olave really nicely on the first 11 on 11. Jake Haener made a nice throw in a tight window, but other than that, it was a lot of dump-offs, drop-offs, no real attempts deep down the field for any of the quarterbacks, not singling anybody out. And if there really weren't a lot of running lanes either, so you got to give credit to the defense right there. But yeah, it was one of those days where, quite honestly, the best news was it was cloudy, and we didn't drop about 50 gallons of sweat out there.
Pleasant. I don't know.
Dare I say it was a little pleasant. So, yeah, it was just, again, one of those days, and a lot of special teams emphasis today as well, Erin. So that was something that we did see.
They were doing a lot of punting because they have brought in a new punter. So I think they're giving everybody an opportunity to show what they got. Tomorrow, head coach Kellen Moore said that there will be scrimmage action. That's basically the entire practice will be scrimmage. It is going to be thud tempo, which means that they will be hitting, but they will not be taking people to the ground. Yep. So it will be some live work towards the end of practice and unscripted work as well. So it should be a pretty entertaining day tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, that's something we can really look forward to, and be interesting to see who gets the reps at first, second, and third team. Today we saw Tyler Shuck running the first team. Jake Haener got two, and really, I think it was the only time we can recall that Spencer Rattler was running the threes. Maybe one time, or was that his first time?
No, that was his first time with the threes, and Coach Moore said after practice that was intentional to give Haener some more reps, because Haener usually has been he's been locked in as the third team quarterback, depending on who's going first and second, and Jake had always been going third. So him getting those second team reps meant that he got some more action today, and he was solid.
Yeah, it was solid. Again, Haener, I tell you, he calls himself the underdog, and he's just got a really good way of going about his business. I was trying to think of the word to say, but he's just slowly and steadily just having a really, really good camp. I mentioned that throw he made in a very tight window today to one of the tight ends. That's just something that, despite his stature, I mean, it's tough to do, to get it over the lineman and then fit it in like that, and he certainly did it. I think he's a confident individual as it is. But I think with each passing day, he's proven to himself that, he can do this, and he can do this successfully and consistently. So he's had a really, really good camp, and it's good to see, because you just pull for guys like that.
When you look at the receivers, I think that obviously you start with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed out there every day making catches and big plays, but Mason Tipton has stood out here and there as well, and we loved him last year at camp before he got hurt, but He said this season he has come in, he's put on some weight. He was at 183 last year, 187, but he was very intentional about it, that he wanted to put on muscle. He wanted to be football strong and not just track speed fast. And the way that he built muscle, he said he is actually faster this season because of how he approached the build and the strength. So that is interesting.
Yeah, and you know what I noticed too in that last 4-minute drill that Coach Moore talked about? They did 2 separate drills today. They did 2 separate drills in install today where they were backed up at the 2-yard line. The offense was, and the key was to try to get out of the shadow of your own goal line. And then the final drill of the day was a 4-minute situation where, you know, the offense wants to run the clock out and win the game. And Jake Haener, when he had his opportunity to do that, you know who his safety valve is? Mason Tipton.
Yep.
I mean, it's like clockwork now. So Jake Haener said, you know what? That guy can get open, and I'm going to give him the ball, and he's going to make the catch more often than not. And Tipton, as you talked about, I mean, not only has he put that muscle on, but he has regained his speed, and he is someone who can take a 5-10 yard pass and go a long way with it. And we saw that today, not necessarily the distance, but Haener threw a little crossing route to him, and he wound up getting a first down, like a 5-yard crossing route, and he cut upfield and got a first down. And in that 4-minute drill, that's so important to continue the clock and put the pressure on the defense. But yeah, look, this was about the time I already wrote an observation on him a few practices ago. He made it 13 practices last year before the hamstring got to him. We were really, really looking forward to seeing what he was going to do in that first preseason game, and he never got there.
Right.
So we have 1 week from tomorrow. Correct?
Yes.
And that's the first preseason game against the Chargers. We're heading to California on Wednesday. The game is Sunday at, 3 o'clock New Orleans time. So I want to see him because we never saw him in the preseason once he got hurt with the hamstring. I want to see him out there going up against the Chargers and making plays like that.
Yeah. You mentioned that he looks like the safety net for Haener out there. Yeah. And Tipton said that he wants everybody to know and emphasize that he can run the entire route tree. And there are a lot of options out there when all of your receivers can do anything and everything you need them to.
No, and that was something I was noticing when I did my research as far as how many practices he did last year from my observation. At first, during camp, it was bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. This was the camp in Irvine last season. And then all of a sudden, he started running those different routes, the comebacks, the crosses, the slants. So he can do it. It just, you want to see him do it more than 2 weeks. But that is something I really noticed when I was writing that piece on him. And let's just hope it continues.
Yeah, he was used last year with the injuries more towards the second half of the season. But if he can remain in and healthy throughout all of training camp and build momentum, it'll be interesting to see how he's used to start the year.
I mean, look, we're not personnel people here, but you would think he's going to make the final 53 if he stays healthy.
I mean, we can start penciling people in here and creating the draft, the depth chart.
We are not doing that now. Let's get to the first preseason game and then go from there.
There was some unfortunate news that Coach Moore said today with the guard, Nick Saldiveri. He did have a knee injury during the indoor practice on Thursday and is going to be out for the season. He's going on IR, so it's tough because he's somebody that has dealt with injuries, and you hate to see that for him. A couple of players were limited, Juwan Johnson, Landon Young, Devin Neal, but nothing serious there. JT Gray does remain out. He was at the practice today, saw him on the sideline, so still out there taking in what he can as while he works back from that hamstring injury.
Yeah, and we good to see Ridgeway out there. John Ridgeway was out there doing a little conditioning, so he was limited. And also we saw the tight end, Trayton Welch. He participated fully. Yep. So, those guys didn't do anything on, what day was it? It was Thursday inside, and it was good to see them back out there. So, again, it's tough about Saldiveri, but that really has been the most major injury to this point during camp, and that's been pretty good because the track record in the past has not been good.
Yeah, it is good. I think the players appreciate the rest and recovery that they're getting and the structure of these practices. Really looking forward to the longest practice that we're going to have here in camp tomorrow in that scrimmage. That should definitely be a fun day. We have been watching the defense now for a little over a week, and the defensive line has done very well. Moore mentioned that they have been playing tremendously. He said the offensive line still needs to continue to improve. Right now, the D-line is not giving you much time back there in the pocket.
Not time and not a whole lot of running lanes either, which is, remember that practice three practices ago when the offense had all those chunk plays. I mean, at this point, it seems like it's been an anomaly because the defense has just really done well, but we've talked about that time and time again. Defense is usually ahead of offense in training camp. When we get to the scrimmage type situations tomorrow, that's when you're really going to see if the offense can pick it up a little bit. But no, the defense has been really, really solid, especially on the line. They've mixed and matched. They've rotated. That's kept guys fresh. And the 3-4 scheme with, you got Alontae Taylor playing the slot. We've seen him come in on blitzes a lot, and that's caused some little extra pressure on the quarterbacks. But defense has been really, really solid in the first week and a half of camp.
And you go from the D-line back behind the D-line. You mentioned Alontae Taylor, but it has been Kool-Aid McKinstry and Isaac Yiadom, who Mike Haas caught up with after practice. He shared that lovely interview with us, so we're going to go ahead and put that here in a second. But safeties have been the same as well now, and it is Julian Blackmon, Justin Reed, and Jonas Sanker has been rotated in at times, and he looks pretty good for a rookie.
Yeah, I just think, you got all that experience back there with Reed and Blackmon. I think it's a no-brainer. And, eventually, look, the younger guys are going to get some reps. We actually saw Jordan Howden had an interception a couple of practices ago. But I think when it's all said and done, you're going with the experience. I mean, Blackman's track record has been outstanding as far as interceptions and playing through injury. And we just talked about how versatile Justin Reed is. And they're naturals back there. And ultimately, you would expect them to take over the reins when we really get into the meat of not only the end of these training camp practices, but the regular season as well.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch them and see how they're working together back there. Justin Reed has been the one that's really dictating where the defense is going to line up and telling people what to do. Usually it's been Demario Davis's role, but just the way that this defense is set up and structured, I think they like having somebody that can see everything back there, being the one, obviously with his history, his experience, he can call anything and knows what he's looking at, playing and play out. All right, we're going to turn it over to Haas now in his interview with Isaac Yiadom.
With quarterback Isaac Yiadom, and I'm the play-by-play guy with Deuce McAllister in the booth, so I'm all about numbers.
Okay.
Now, you're a former third-round pick with Denver.
Yes, sir.
Been around in the league. Can you, in order, and I had to write it down, can you give me your numbers in order that you use?
My numbers.
Yeah.
What teams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can for sure.
Yeah?
In Denver, I was 41, then I switched to 26.
Yeah.
Then where I go after that? New York,
Giants.
27,
Green Bay.
24.
Houston.
What was I, 24?
20.
20, yeah.
And then first time New Orleans.
27.
Were you ever 36 here?
Oh, I was 36, yeah. Yeah,
That is-
36, you know better than me.
Dude, I had to write it down. Don't act like I knew it.
I went to
San Francisco.
22 and back to 27.
27.
Yeah.
So it's a well-rounded trip. But 27 feels like in New Orleans, that's the one that fits best.
Yeah, man. As they say, it look good on me, so I just gotta keep wearing it.
So we're having a little fun. So I want to go back to 21 in Green Bay. You play 16 games. You had COVID. You came back. You battled it out, right? Did everything you could for that team. Great team, playoffs, get released. That's got to be tough.
Very tough, man. That was a tough part, like up and down in my career. You know what I mean? Getting traded, moving teams, and a team that I got to, and I had a special teams role. I battled. I tried to do everything I could, special teams wise, and then right before the playoffs, get a first chance to ever play in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And
At Lambeau.
At Lambeau, it's 0 degrees, everybody's dream, and I get released. It was tough, man. It was tough, but I think that was a big part of my career, man, because when I got to Houston that off, because right after that, man, I really turned into, all right, I don't care. I'm playing my way of football. You know what I mean? I'm going to go out there and just play football stress-free. I don't care what happens anymore. You done already traded me.
Can't control it.
You done already traded me. You done cut me. What's the worst that's going to happen? You going to cut me again? Right. So I feel like, and when I got to Houston, man, when I tell you I just played free. I played free. I was competing. I played my best football I ever have. And it was because I just stopped putting so much on my plate. I just was like, I can't control certain things, so I just got to have fun with this. And that's exactly what I did.
So 23, Saints start off 2-0. Week 3 in Green Bay. Now, prior to that, you'd had 4 defensive snaps in the first 2 weeks. Paulson Adebo gets hurt. You come in, 63 snaps on defense, and you're kind of exactly what you just talked about. Like, they went at you and Alontae hard. I mean hard. Mm-hmm. Some PIs, but then I felt like you just went, I'm me. Yep. And you had 4 PDs in that game, some of them late. I feel like that was another moment in time when you go, enough.
100%, because in that game in particular, man, I ain't felt like I owed them none, because at the end of the day, I love my teammates over there, but I knew they was going to come at me. You know what I mean? We had Marshawn on the other side. I knew what it was coming. And it didn't turn into like maybe early in my career, like, oh my gosh, they coming at me. It was like, keep coming at me. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And that was my mentality that whole entire game. They kept throwing the ball at me. I was like, come on, let's keep doing it. You know what I mean? So that's a game that hurt. I wish we would have won that game. Jordan Love made a great throw to Dubs in the back of the end zone, but that's just been my mindset since then. You know what I mean?
I've always felt that game, from your early career, I wasn't around, right? But that felt, man, he just went, man, that's it. All right, so finally, you've had enough hard. You were born in Virginia, right?
Yep.
But spent most of your time up in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And Bobby Hebert had just talked to you, said it. You're from Worcester. Yep. Nope, that's not right? There should be an H in the word, but there's not. Yep. So you've had a hard enough time getting people to get not Yiadom, right? Yep. How do you say where you're from? Worcester.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Right.
Worcester.
It's the second largest city after Boston. So it's right outside of Boston. Yeah. If you look it up in the dictionary, it says there's 3 separate pronunciations. There's Worcester, and they're kind of a Worcester with a U, and then what I would say would be the total locals, like Wicked, Worcester, right?
Exactly. So only if you're from New England you know how to say it, but once you learn, you don't stop saying it.
So for you, you've had a tough one, man, with your last name and where you're from, man.
Just let them have it at this point.
Well, good. Hey, man, I appreciate having a little fun with me, and have a great season.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate Haas helping out with that. And somebody else, another radio counterpart of ours, Bobby Hebert, ties in nicely after that. Graf's going to explain it, but first I want to give a shout out to Eric Allen being inducted into the Hall of Fame today. He was a former cornerback here with the Saints, played primarily for the Eagles, and that's when I think a lot of his accolades were acquired. But he did play 2 seasons here in 95 through 97 with the Saints, so always going to support a guy that played here.
No doubt.
Stays a legend for us.
Yeah, well, he actually, again, had a very, very, very good career with the Philadelphia Eagles before he came over. He was really towards the tail end of his career when he was a Saint, but, the one Eric Allen memory I'll always have, unfortunately, was a dubious memory, was in the 92 wildcard game in the Superdome when, it seemed that the Saints were going to win their first ever playoff game and advance to the divisional round, and we had a 20-7 lead at halftime and wound up losing 36-20. And our old pal Bobby Hebert threw an interception to Eric Allen, who brought it back a long way, and that pretty much sealed the deal. And that's one of those things I'll never forget, because at the time, Erin, having gone to countless Saints games, that was probably the angriest I've ever left the Superdome was that day. At the time, there have been different instances where I have been angry. 2019 NFC Championship, but I don't. We're not going to talk about that. But yeah, that's something that I know if we talked to Bobby about, he would definitely remember that, or he might want to forget it. I don't know, but I'll never forget that one. But Eric Allen was a hell of a player. He really was.
Well, thank you for going down memory lane for us.
Well, I mean, you asked me. What do you want me to do?
another great day at Saints training camp right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast. And we'll be back tomorrow with what we expect to be a very fun
scrimmage recap.
Yeah.
A scrimmage recap.
You better get your hand ready.
Notebook ready, pen ready. Let's do it.
Okay. We'll be right back at it Sunday on the New Orleans Saints podcast. For Todd Graffagnini, I'm Erin Summers. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the New Orleans Saints podcast presented by Rouse's Markets. Join us 3 times per week on NewOrleansSaints.com, the Saints mobile app, or you can download the podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time, right here on the New Orleans Saints podcast, presented by Rouse's Markets.